the two of them argue late into the night. And eventually what happens is, even though Glenn's grandfather said that they wouldn't leave the room until Glenn was fixed, he's an old dude. He's got to go to fucking sleep. So he drags his old bones over the bed and goes to sleep. At this part of the story, I always become filled with contempt for him for being old. I don't know why. There's some horrible thing inside of me. This part of the story. So he drags his old bones over the bed and he goes to sleep. Glenn is furious. He's all riled up, and he decides to run away from home. And he decides that it would be particularly fitting and theatrical if he runs away on the bike. He takes the bike. So he wheels the bike out of the garage. He gets on it and rides down the old country road that his grandparents live on, and he rides past the old creepy dude's house. Bye, old creepy dude. He rides past the rich friend's house. Bye, rich friend. Bye, old life. And he's riding down this road, and he just gets to riding as fast as he can. And he's riding, and he's thinking about how much he hates everything. He's thinking about how much he hates the world and how everything's let him down. He's thinking about how God is shitty and how everyone is stupid. And he's so angry as he's riding that he screams out, "I hate you, God!" And it feels good to scream, and he screams again, "I hate you, God! I hate you, world!" And now he's just riding and screaming as fast as he can. Just riding and screaming, not even looking, and he hits a rock and his bike clatters to the ground. He scrapes his knees on the pavement, but he gets back up and just starts running into this cornfield. He's running as fast as he can, just screaming, "I hate you, God! I hate you, world!" And he can't even see in front of him for the corn. And the sky begins filling with these ominous dark clouds. And before he knows it, the entire sky is black, and he's still running. He can't see in front of him. And rain starts pouring out of the sky. He's drenched immediately. His skin is soaked through, but he's still running and screaming, just running and screaming. And the sky begins exploding around him, thunder and lightning flashing simultaneously and constantly. Now he can only see bright things, and he's running, and he's cold, and he falls to the ground. Gets up, and he's covered in mud. He can't see anything, and he realizes that he's alone. And that he wasn't alone before. He thought he was, but he wasn't. He had his grandparents. He had an entire structure at school and church. He had God. Now he's alone. And Glenn thinks back to every time that he's felt attacked and he felt the world has let him down over the last year. He realizes that it was about him not trusting. That it was about him not trying. He realizes that he's dug himself into this pit of negativity for an entire year. But really, it's been him who's not letting himself be happy. And Glenn realizes that he doesn't hate God. He doesn't hate the world. He hates himself. And at this point in the story, Glenn is standing there in the rain, ostensibly waiting to die. Which is a really intense thing for a 10-year-old. When suddenly he feels a strong confidence. And he looks up at his old creature. "What are you doing here, man?" He goes, "Hey, son, it looks like you're in quite a predicament. What's going on?" "I turned my back on everyone. I ran away. I threw my life away. I treated God shittily." And the old creepy dude goes, "It's all right. You gotta believe." And Glenn goes, "I don't even know if I can believe anymore. It's so terrible. I turned my back on everyone. I wouldn't even trust it." And Glenn's the old man goes, "You just gotta have faith." And in the story, in the book, he's not singing. He's fucking singing. So Glenn's like, "I don't know if I can have faith. God's not gonna take a call from me. I've been a sinner this whole year, just trying as hard as I can to be awful." And the old guy goes, "You just gotta take my hand and have faith at my ITA." And Glenn's like, "I don't know if I can take your hand." He goes, "Just take my hand." And I don't know if I can just take my hand. And they take each other's hands, and they walk through the storm. They walk through the storm. They emerge on the other side of the storm in this technicolor dream world. The sky is green and the grass is red. Ducks have 4 legs and no wings. And Glenn turns to the old man, who by now is definitely an angel. He's the world's most elaborately theatrical bed in his home, and it's Christmas morning of the previous year, and it was all a dream! It's a lie! There were no snakes, none of it happened! His mother comes in and she goes, hey, look at me, totally alive, come downstairs, open your present. And he goes downstairs, he opens his gifts, he gets his socks and his nightman, his San Francisco puzzle, and he gets his sweater, and this time he's super gracious about the sweater. Goes to the grandparents' house, and he's a big boy all night. They go to sleep. They wake up. He gets his bike. That's the end of the story. And I don't know what the moral is. So clearly has a moral. There so evidently is a moral. I feel like someone handed me an inflatable hammer and asked me to hammer in a nail. It looks like a moral. It feels like a moral. There's nothing inside it. So that's how I feel when I try to find a moral in this book. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to end this story. Thank you guys all so much for coming, by the way. At the very end, there's like an appendix where footnotes, theoretical sources. It explains the biographical basis for the novel, the extent to which this story happened to Glenn. And there was a Christmas sweater, but neither of his parents died during the whole Christmas sweater thing. And apparently, the dream sequence, the storm sequence, is based on an actual dream that Glenn had when he was in his 30s. And it was that dream that prompted Glenn, that affected him so thoroughly that he decided to stop drinking and drugging and get his shit together. Maybe even convert to Mormonism, I'm not sure. But in any case, think about that. We're going to sleep tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming.